Hey guys, this is Philip Vanderbossen with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and I am here outside of Nashville, Tennessee in order to take a look at the new 2023 Toyota Highlander. So this model was updated in 2020 for the 4th generation, so this is more of a refresh here in 2023. But I think it's a fairly major refresh because they have an all-new engine. It's an inline 4-cylinder turbo, and it's much more efficient than the old V6 engine that it replaces. They also have a new 12-inch infotainment screen that makes its debut here on this 2023 Highlander. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at both those items starting right now. Guys, I have Andrea Mayfield with me here. She's a marketing planner who specializes in the Highlander, and she's going to tell us all about this new engine, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at inside at the updates there.
I'm so happy to talk to you about our model year 23 Highlander. Right here we have the XSE with a brand new gas engine, new for model year 23. It's a 2.4 liter turbo, 4-cylinder inline. It features 265 horsepower and a whopping 310 pounds per feet of torque, which is a big improvement over the previous generation. Model year 22 Highlander XSE and all gas powertrains had a V6, but now we are streamlining it and giving it a more efficient, more turbo and powerful engine. It has the same towing capacity, so you will continue to receive that 5,000 pounds of towing capacity for model year 23, same as model year 22. But the other things that are exciting about this new engine is it's more friendly to the environment. It reduces certain emissions, so nitrous oxide and the non-methane organic gases by 50%. So the other wonderful thing about this new engine is that fuel economy is even better. So now for model year 23 front-wheel drive gas engines, it's 25 miles combined MPGs versus 24 in the previous model year 22. Our all-wheel drive drivetrain options on the gas side will give you 24 combined miles per gallon, which is above 23 versus model year 22. So for both drivetrains on the gas engine, you get a 1 MPG improvement on both options. Yes, technically there is a reduction in horsepower for model year 23, but we more than make up for that in the increase in torque. So you have 47 pounds per feet more torque, and you'll notice that very quickly on everyday driving. So while there's technically less horsepower, it has more pep and is more responsive and fun to drive in those everyday scenarios, especially at lower RPMs. So we felt that the driver wouldn't be missing out, and it would still be an exciting drive for them and more fuel friendly on there. For model year 23, consumers will continue to have the choice between a gas or hybrid powertrain option. Consumers will have lots of choices on which Highlander grade powertrain and drivetrain is best for them. So new for the interior on model year 23 Highlander XSE is this 12.3-inch screen featuring the all-new Toyota audio multimedia system. The 8-inch screen comes standard, but now consumers will have the option of the 12.3-inch screen, which I do highly recommend.
Alright, so this is one of the big stories here on the new Highlander. This is the new 12-inch available screen here that has the new infotainment system from Toyota on it. So you can see we're starting here with the music panel, and obviously we're not playing any music for copyright reasons, but you actually have the options between your tuner, your FM radio AM, Sirius XM, and then of course your Apple CarPlay and such. So here you also got your phone. I don't have any connected Bluetooth devices currently, but if I did, obviously I'd have the phone settings here, and then you have your driving information. So we have current information and the history, so we have both our range and our trip duration, and you can see the miles per gallon that we've received, and then like I said, the history as well, so you can look at that information. So I have not reset this. I literally haven't been worrying about miles per gallon on this trip, but it looks like we currently are getting 19.5 for the 20 or so miles that we've driven. And then at the top we have the navigation. So that is the built-in Toyota navigation. And so obviously, not overly fancy, but it's much better than what was here previously, and this is a nice big 12-inch screen. So we're gonna go ahead and plug in CarPlay and we'll take a look at that. All right, so there is Apple CarPlay on the Toyota Highlander. As you can see, it takes up the entire screen. It's a nice big wide screen. And then of course you have your different settings here. So for example, maps, and you get the navigation there on the maps, and your phone, for example, here. And you guys know how Apple CarPlay works. So important to see is just a big wide screen, which is nice, and lots of space here. I do not know if there's I do not see any way to split the screen in to have CarPlay on one side and then Toyota stuff on the other side, but we'll take a look and see if we find that. So, and then of course you go back here to the menu, and so then from here, I noticed that there is no home button on this screen. So the way to get back to your normal Toyota interface is to hit the Toyota button that they added to your screen there. So, and then one more thing I'll notice is that in here you have your settings. We're currently on the guest mode, which I know Tim has had a little bit of trouble pairing the keys and such, and figuring out the different modes, profiles for different drivers. But so we're here just in guest mode currently, so we don't have to worry about any of that today. And they have the information here, your Bluetooth, your general settings. We can go through all the different panels. There's lots of different options on this vehicle. That's nice to have. Display, the brightness, the contrast, and navigation settings, for example. And let's see if there's anything for CarPlay. I do not see anything for doing a double screen for CarPlay. Software updates, no updates available. So yeah, there you go. There's just a quick look at some of the settings here, some of the options that you have here on the Highlander with this new infotainment screen.
Something else that you'll notice about XSE is the styling. So you can see the interior has red accents throughout the cabin. So you have this optional two-tone seat combination if you'd like. It's a zero-cost option. You'll notice the red stitching throughout the cabin. And on this particular model, you have the available JBL sound system, which is 1500 watts and includes 11 speakers, which includes a subwoofer and amplifier. So the sound quality is quite nice. So the other things that are new for this model year is the wireless charging location. It used to be in the center console, and now for model year 23, it's featured here, very conveniently located to the driver. The ambient lighting has also changed for model year 23. It is now white instead of blue. Some consumers may care about that more than others, but it is a nice luxurious feel, which XSE does feature the ambient lighting. So this is the 7-inch MID, which is for XSE is a carryover for this grade, but it is the limited and platinum grades get that brand new 12.3-inch all-digital instrument cluster. So, which has different modes, consumer up to 4 modes, custom, sport, casual, and smart is the 4th mode. So consumers can customize what views that they want to see every day.
All right, this is a new color for 2023. This is Cypress Green, and actually this is a limited model. So we're gonna go ahead and jump inside this and take a look at the new digital cluster once you guys are done looking at this beautiful green. Okay, so here we're looking at the new digital cluster, which is available on the limited and platinum trims on the 2023 Toyota Highlander. As you can see on the left side, we have your tachometer. So as we hold down the buttons on the steering wheel, we can change some of the things here. So you can see we're changing the center to messages, settings, and then the adaptive cruise control settings, I believe that is. And we click on settings, you can see we got lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, all these different safety things. You can turn them on and off here in the center. And so you can change your language, you can change your units, meter type, meter style. So for example, we got casual, smart, tough, and sporty. And we also have the meter types here. So we have the 2, the single, and whether you have widgets or not. And then we have the digital one here. So So I kind of like the double and the sporty. Alright, so let's take a look at the graphics for the different drive modes. So if I go up one, I get, this is normal mode, and then there's sport mode, and then down to eco mode. So it just gives this little animation when it's changing the modes, and then the dash changes back to what you had set on. So there you go. So there is the new digital cluster here. It's a 12.3-inch screen on the 2023 Toyota Highlander.
The other really unique feature about XSE is our Sport Tune suspension. So this grade is designed for a sportier consumer, and the suspension is finely tuned for that type of driving scenario. Also, with this particular model on XSE, all-wheel drive is an option, and starting with the XSE and above grades, you have the dynamic torque vectoring all-wheel drive system, which you'll see in this knob. You have different options depending on what type of terrain you're driving on, but with the dynamic torque vectoring system, it does send up to 50% of the power to the wheels that need it the most. So it is quite a nice feature.
So now we're driving an XLE model, and I'm here with Jon from TRD Jon on YouTube, right?
Yep, yeah, YouTube and Instagram, yeah.
Instagram and YouTube, so you can follow him there. You can see all his stuff, mostly Toyota and Lexus content, right?
Correct, yeah.
So Jon is with us driving on this trip here in Nashville, and like I said, we are in the XLE model. This morning we drove the XSE, and so this one's a lower trim, but it's equipped with the same engine, which is what's new this year for the what are we driving? Highlander.
Highlander.
What's new in the Highlander? So we have the inline 4 turbo. It's a 2.4 liter. That replaces the V6. All right. So I've driven it. You've driven it. What do you think?
I think it's good. I mean, I don't remember the V6 much. I have the same style of one, that 3.5 liter in my Tacoma, but if this motor was in my Tacoma, I'd be totally happy with it. It packs a punch for being a little 4-banger turbo. It really packs a punch.
Yeah, I think so. Like I also have not driven the V6 Highlander, the 2022 and the 2021. We have reviews on the channel that Jill and Tim have both driven it recently. I have not, so it's hard to compare it directly to what this replaces. But I will tell you that when I drove it on the highway, when I drove it on some of these back roads, to me it has all the power that I would need in a vehicle like this. I'm not looking for it to be a sports car. I'm looking for it to be adequate to get up there. You know, so the torque is the main thing. That, you know, the torque has increased, but the horsepower has decreased.
Right.
And so most people,
weirdly,
yeah, exactly, weirdly. So most people will be worried about the horsepower decrease. Right. It's 30 horsepower, but to me, it's kind of like, you know, since the torque has increased and it's at lower RPMs, it's kind of like you can accelerate in, you know, merging situations. You can accelerate around the town. You know, when you're going in and out of turns and stuff, you can accelerate faster. And that to me is more important in daily driving. If given the choice between the two, I'd rather have more torque, wouldn't you?
Well, and MPGs aren't affected with it, even though it's a smaller motor. MPGs aren't really affected. They're about the same. I think they said plus one.
I think it's one mile per gallon.
And it can still tow 5,000 pounds, which that is probably the chassis itself maybe limiting it, but I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good for a 4-cylinder. Yeah.
So the main benefits are, so you get that 1 mile per gallon, which I guess for a customer that's not that great of a number. You know, 1 mile per gallon better, but it's the emissions that are the main thing. They cut the emissions by 50%.
Yeah.
So if you don't give a damn about emissions, then I guess you'd rather have the old V6. But if you do care, and I think a lot of Toyota customers do care about emissions, so if you do care about emissions, then you should be, you know, happy to be able to cut that. Now, of course, if you care about emissions even more, you'd probably want to go for the hybrid.
Right, yeah. And I mean, this drives very good. I haven't driven a hybrid one, but I like the hybrid RAV4 over a normal RAV4. The normal RAV4 I don't really like, but this 4-cylinder in this one, it's quiet. It's not as loud as the V6 on my Tacoma at all. It's super refined. Plus, too, when you upgraded this one, you get the better screen and everything too, the new infotainment. So there's trade-offs, I guess.
All right, so let us know in the comments what you think, or if you have any other questions. We want to thank you guys as always for watching, and we will see you down the road.